Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my Zoom along with Sam Flake. My name is Michael Epstein. I'm what's called an elite Pro 8 in a company called LifeVantage. And I'm really grateful that I could bring you guys here on this today, along with my incredible friend and brother, Sam Flake, who also is a Pro 8 with our wonderful company out of Sam Flake, out of Snowflake, Arizona. And we're going to take about 30 minutes today and just kind of share an overview of why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing. And if you saw the little blurb that we sent out, Sam and I are both stay-at-home daddies, especially in the world of where we are today with all the craziness going on. So many people have lost their jobs, lost their careers, and lost a lot of financial situations that they had put away because of the way that the whole world has shifted. And everybody's always looking for a better way, but also everybody's really skeptical about a lot of things out there. So what we're going to share with you is about $250 million publicly traded debt-free company in the field of biohacking and nutrigenomics. We'll share a little bit more about what that is, but let me ask you this one question before I introduce my friend Sam here. If you had the ability and truly had the ability to flip the switch within your cells and truly become the best version of yourself health-wise, how would that be? Of course, the answer is great. So how would it also be to flip the switch in your wallet, to give you just a little extra cushion or a lot? It's up to you. We hope that this information is going to resonate with you. And if it does, fantastic. And if it doesn't, I just want to thank you for joining us for this next 30 minutes or so. So my friend Sam Flake has been married to his wife, Vandy, and they have four beautiful children, excuse me, three. I was thinking of somebody else with 3 children there. And he was a rancher, a farmer, a construction worker, and a school teacher. And his wife is used to work for the telecommunications telephone company. But because of this situation where we are sharing information and helping people become the best versions of themselves, he's been able to free himself and to be able to be that stay-at-home dad. So without further ado, I would love to turn it over to my friend Sam, and he's going to share an overview of how our company is and how we got to where we are. So Sam, if you wouldn't mind, take over.
You bet. Thank you, Michael. Love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
One of the greatest parts about this business is the people you meet and the friends you make, and how not only, it helps you in the business, it helps you understand the products more and things like that, and you get to hear their stories, and that builds your belief both on the product and the business side. But it also helps you just emotionally, and no matter what you do in life, there's ups and downs. Life is a roller coaster. Somebody says they have a perfect life, then they're lying. Let's be honest. But so life isn't easy, but I'm just grateful for people like Michael and you guys. We're actually not even on the same team in this business. It's set up in kind of in teams, and as you help people start their own businesses, similar to franchising, just a heck of a lot cheaper. You can benefit from all the people in your own team, but we're not even on the same team, but we've met at events and we've become friends and good friends. And I'm very grateful for you, Michael. So guys, a little more about my story. He kind of went into a lot of it, but I was just hungry for something different. I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't looking for network marketing. I had never done it before, kind of had a negative opinion about it, but I've just been praying a lot that we could get more more time with our kids and more freedom in our lives. And I was, at the time I'd already done the farmer rancher construction thing. I was a school teacher at the time, a sixth grade school teacher. Like I said, I'd never done this before. My wife was working for a cell phone company, and we had two kids at the time. It was kind of Groundhog's Day, going paycheck to paycheck. Car would break down, something would happen, and just what are we going to do? It hurt our marriage. I mean, money's not everything, but when there's
It's right
when
up there with oxygen, though.
it does rank right up there with oxygen. And in marriage, it's one of the biggest stresses there is in marriage. And so I wasn't looking for this, but it got introduced to us. We took a look, we were blown away. And as I go through the company story, I'm going to kind of go through the product story a little bit too, and kind of tell you what impressed us, why we did this, because we went skeptical. In fact, when we took a look at this, my wife says, don't take the credit card. We're not signing up for anything. We're not going to buy anything. I said, okay. And we didn't, we left it home. But what we learned, like, changed our lives. This company started back in 2003, a small biotech company out of the University of Colorado. And there was a doctor there and a professor who had done major research. He had kind of known as the father of free radical biology. The late 60s, as a research student at Duke, he had helped, prove the free radical theory of aging. Before that, they kind of thought it was a bunch of quacks. And if you're like me, you hadn't really heard of what the free radical theory of aging is. But basically, all that is you've heard of antioxidants, right? It's this huge marketing thing. And antioxidants attack oxidants. That's free radicals. That's where that theory comes from. Basically, in our cells, there's trillions of cells in our body. And every day they're producing gazillions of free radicals every single day. And our body produces its own antioxidants that neutralize those, pretty good as we're growing and younger for the most part. Then we hit about 20 or so. And as we age, the production of our body's own antioxidants that can clean up like 1,000,000 per second, they begin to go down, kind of like a piano goes out of tune over the years, or a guitar goes out of tune. You have to retune it. And so our bodies do that. They go out of tune, and we're not producing as many antioxidants because of our cells, our genes are not functioning correctly. And so what happens is our body produces these antioxidants, and he came up with this product called Protandim that helps turn these back on, flip switches, like Michael was talking about. They flip switches in our cells, they flip switches in our DNA, and it turns back on, retunes our piano inside of us, basically, and helps us to do what we were doing when we were a lot younger. Now, it's not a cure-all. We can't make any claims or anything like that, but it just slows down that aging disease process. And so he helped develop this product. Sounded too good to be true. So in 2005, ABC Primetime News came and investigated it. They ended up validating it. And then over 20 universities began studying it. And if you haven't seen that, I recommend you do see that ABC Primetime investigative report from 2005. Over 20 universities began studying it. And we have upwards of 30 peer-reviewed and published studies now from major universities on PubMed.gov. And this is on the actual product, not just ingredients. And that impressed me a lot too, because a lot of times there's a bunch of products and they claim all these things. And if you look for the science, it's either on a company website, a company brochure, paid for by the company. And this is just a little aside here, but I read a meme the other day on Facebook, and it said, 95% of scientists agree that, I'm going to mess this up now, I'm just losing my train of thought all of a sudden, but 95% of scientists agree that agree with all of the studies. 95% of scientists agree with the people who paid for their study, is basically how that meme goes. And so I love that we have science that's not just paid for by the company, but LSU, Ohio State, Texas Tech, and over 20 universities studied it with their own money. And that was real impressive to me. So anyways, fast forward a little bit. The company, that was the ABC Primetime was kind of like free advertising for the company. $5 million of orders came in. The stock went through the roof. It's a publicly traded company, which is another thing that impresses me. It's actually on the NASDAQ now. We actually rang the bell on Times Square in January of 2020. So they look at everything and they're like, this is pretty good stuff, but they couldn't keep up with the orders. there's a huge demand and low supply. They're online. Eventually they got into GNC, High Health, CVS pharmacies. That was another thing that impressed me. And by the time they get manufacturing everything back up, it's kind of nosediving. They're doing about half a bottle per store per month. You know, a bottle sitting on a shelf with 1,000 products, and the 17-year-old behind the counter can't tell a story like people can. Word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of business there is. And network marketing, when it's done right, is one of the most powerful forms of business there is, especially when it's professional, especially when it's with real products, with real science. I mean, honestly, don't know anything else like this. And when I learned that this turns on your body's own antioxidants, can neutralize up to 1 million free radicals per second. And with a peer-reviewed study, can reduce oxidative stress by an average of 40%. If you don't know what oxidative stress is, look that up. It'll blow you away. There's over 200,000 studies and articles on oxidative stress and aging and disease. And so eventually they're going through some CEOs. They hired a consultant that had taken another nutritional company to about $500 million a year in sales. He looks at everything. He goes, you know, you either should sell the company or go into network marketing. And there was even some pharmaceutical companies trying to buy the patents, but they didn't want to sell to them because of what they probably would do to it. And so he goes to the board of directors, and, you know, being a bunch of scientists and things like that, we don't want this to go in some pyramid scheme or whatever. So long story short, it took him 3 months to convince him to give it a shot. So in May of 2009, they did a side-by-side comparison they still had the product on the shelves at GNC. By the end of that year, the network marketing word of mouth division had way outperformed the GNC and the retail. So they canceled their contracts, went 100% network marketing in 2010. And they grew and grew and grew from the 3.5 million to now we're at about a $240 million company in almost 20 countries and growing. We're getting ready to open the Philippines, actually. And so that's a little bit about the company story. You know, Michael's going to share a little bit more on the products and that, but just a little bit more on my own side of this. So I got in, I wasn't good at this. It took me a while to figure it out. I wasn't good at talking to people. I wasn't a salesman or anything like that, you know, but when I saw that this lowered oxidative stress and I learned what that meant, that was like the clincher for me. I was like, holy cow, this is going to be big. And to this day, here's how new this are. And we even educate doctors on what this Nerve2 technology is. And to this day, like I'm just blown away that we have this opportunity. Not even 1% of the world still knows about this. And you've been given a gift. You've been given the opportunity to hear about it. Now, this has changed our life. We've been able to have 2 more kids. My wife and I were both able to come home from work. Well, except for during school time, we can wake up when we're done sleeping, and you know, we can black our windows if we need to or whatever. Although I'm a morning person, so I love getting up early. I love working out in the yard. I garden and things like that. But it's money's not everything, but it sure takes a lot of stress away. And to me, the definition of wealth is not having a ton of money. It's more about not having to stress about money and having good time with your family, good relationships. And basically, to me, wealth is not stressing so much is a big definition. But I don't want to talk too long because we're trying to keep this to about 30 minutes. So I'm going to turn it back over and introduce you to Michael, who started this call. And Michael is an amazing man. You won't even have a clue that he's as old as he is. He has been taking these products for 10 years. I believe we started about the same time. And our health has been so much better too, just from mine and my family's perspective. But Michael is from California, and he's been a martial arts instructor, a massage therapist. So he really knows this kind of stuff. He really understands how things affect the body and how important health is. And he was I think last time I said, I'll say it again, he's like something black belt, triple figured crossover. I don't even know how you say it. We'll just call him a master black belt, right, Michael? But anyways, he's now the father of 2 and an incredible person, incredible friend. And he's going to tell you a little more about the products and his story. Michael?
Thank you so much, Sam, my brother Sam. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do this Zoom with you. And what's really awesome is there's several people from different teams that are on this Zoom, and there's some guests that are on this Zoom. But yes, again, thanks for taking the time. And the key most important thing is our health. Let me ask you this question. If I was to say to you that I will give you $5 million cash tax-free and stuck it into your bank account tomorrow. Now I could see by the show of hands, how many people would like that? Now that I could see people on there. If you didn't raise your hand, you're a liar. However, there's a stipulation to that. In order to have that $5 million cash tax-free put into your bank account, I want you to remember the absolute sickest day of your life, whether it's food poisoning, hopefully not COVID, the flu, a broken toe, foot, what have you. I want you to remember what that pain was like. Now think of this. If you had to live the rest of your life with that type of pain in order to achieve that $5 million into your bank account, how many of the show of hands would still want that money? Yeah, that's right, Sherry. Not one person. And I've said that in front of thousands before, and never do anybody ever raise their hand. Why? Because health is that important. And, you know, money is important. It's right up there with oxygen. But if you don't have your health, what do you really have? We have something that we call the 3 theories of aging. This little packet right here, if you can see this, it's called Protandim. This one little pill right here, I'm just going to show it up there really close. This caplet right there, that caplet has 29 published peer-reviewed studies behind it. One of those studies scientifically proves that it extends lifespan by 7%. It was a 10-year study. It reduces something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the direct link to well over 250 major disease processes in the body. With having 250 major studies that prove that oxidative stress is the direct link to all of this stuff, we prove that by taking that one pill reduces this oxidative load by 40%. Let me say that again. It reduces that oxidative load, that oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So if you're invited onto this call and you have not seen the ABC investigative report, please get with the person and make sure you watch that. And John Quinones, who's an Emmy award-winning anchor, went to our company, went to our scientists back in 2003 and said, prove to us that this is really true. So he did a blood test. It's called a lipid peroxidase T-bar blood test. And he says, but we're not going to give you 30 days. We're going to give you 14 days. And in 14 days, John Quinones's oxidative stress was reduced not by 40%, but by 45%. And what he used to say, it brought it down to like a newborn baby. Now, the other 2 pills that are in here, and the reason why they call the 3 theories of aging, the second video that I want you to watch is with world-renowned molecular biologist, Dr. Brian Dixon. And I got to spend several days with him this past weekend down in Cabo. And Dr. Brian Dixon talks about these. The second thing, the most important aspect of our health, is our mitochondria. Our mitochondria are organelles, and we have thousands of organelles of mitochondria in each cell. And believe it or not, our mitochondria has its own DNA. And when our mitochondria deplete, we deplete. When that happens, it increases this oxidative load. So when you have that combination of high oxidative stress and lower mitochondria function, issues, I won't call them disease, I'll call them issues, start happening in the body. So we have the ability to decrease oxidative stress, increase mitochondrial function that actually affects our DNA. And there's one other aspect. And we have fat cells and stored cells that are damaged in our body that through exercise and diet, we really can't get rid of. And there's a molecule that's called NAD. and there's a protein called sirtuin. See, the protandem increases a molecule called NRF2, and NRF1 is with the mitochondria. But when you're able to increase this NAD molecule and increase the sirtuin protein, it works in harmony to remove and build and rev the body's function to eliminate these bad cells that are stored there that cause issues in the body, to be able to, in conjunction with the NRF2, reduce that rusting, clean the debris, and increase your mitochondrial function. It puts your body in the absolute best state. So watch the video with Dr. Dixon talking about the 3 theories of aging, and also the evolution of how we have become where we are. We are far ahead of our own time. Nutrigenomics is, you know, of pharmaceuticals, you know of nutraceuticals, and nutrigenomics kind of sits right in the center. It means nutrition combined with gene expression. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I have a science mind. So I'm not going to get so technical, because how we share this information is sharing videos from the experts so you can understand. And if this is something that resonates you more than just the activation of our supplementation, then you don't have to be the expert except into one thing. What is your dream? Or let's say, what was your dream? Or do you even know what your dream is? Do you know the richest place in the world? It's not Dubai. It's not Japan. It's not New York. It's the graveyard. Why? Because that's where most people die with their dreams. Yep. It's a terrible thing. So if you know what your dream is, and you have a massive burning desire to achieve it, and you understand or learn to understand what your purpose is, and you have the ability to share information with other people, and you help other people create their dreams, that's how you get to create your dreams. I get to be the stay-at-home daddy, and you see a couple of the photos back here. My son just turned 4. My other son turns 2, and I'm 64 years old. So I'm just going to share a couple other products that we have. So this comes in a stack with 3. You can buy one. The one pill that I showed you, that caplet, 29 published peer-reviewed studies behind it, 40 years of research. If you go to the website pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, and you type the word oxidative stress, you will see over 250,000 studies that specifically relate oxidative stress to well over the 250 major disease processes. So this is something you got to see. The other thing, our immune system is so vital. We have something called the daily wellness right here. And Eleni, I was going to give this to you. There's a great story that how we met in the airport or in the airlines, but this has vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, fermented yeast, and elderberry extracts. Now, with the issues of the virus that's going on today, they always talk about zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D, but ours is D3. And then in the ratio of activation, fermented yeast and elderberry extract that makes this daily wellness. It boosts your immune system of where it's supposed to be. That is so vital. I mean, again, going back, what's the most important thing we need? Health. Guys, there's a ton of stuff out there. If you go to the health food store, how do you know what to pick? Are you supposed to go up to the person that's like this on their phone, texting their boyfriend or girlfriend that's making minimum wage and asking them a question about your health? I don't think so. We're $250 million publicly traded debt-free company because we have something that every single human being and animal absolutely needs, with the science to prove it. And when you open your eyes to looking, because they say, oh, it's one of those things, it's that pyramid thing, network marketing. Don't get stuck on that. Open your ears, open your eyes. Oh, they also say it's the person at the top that makes all the money. Really? Well, let me just say this. I have probably over a dozen people on my team that make well over the money that I make. And I'm what's called a Pro 8. Now, we have a full income disclosure that you can look because we're transparent and we're a publicly traded company. But I'll just say this. Now, don't let this scare you. The average Pro 8 makes around $25,000 a month. Well, I have a Pro 10 on my team. The average income of a Pro 10 is 100,000 plus a month. Yes, and they're on my personal team. But let's dumb it down a little bit. What if a person needed an extra $500 a month? What if a person needed an extra $200 a month? Do you know that that little bit of a money is a lot to some people? And that little bit will make a difference. And when you share information with people and they say yes to this, our company puts money into your wallet. Think of the best movie that when you used to go to the movies or when you used to go to your favorite restaurant and you referred people to that restaurant or to see that movie. Did that restaurant or the movie theater ever send you a thank you check? Probably not. But what our company does, it sends you a thank you check. And that's a beautiful thing. Another product I want to talk about is an energy drink. Think of Red Bull, Rockstar, 5-hour energy drink, Monster. Those, I hope you don't drink those. Those are terrible for you. And if you don't know it, people die from drinking that because it throws their body way out of balance. This has something called quercetin, L-theanine, DMEA, New Zealand pine bark extract. We have a decaf and we have a regular. This one is dragon fruit. And have you tried that out there, Eleni, yet? Because this stuff is really, really good. And the caffeine comes from not just green tea. It comes from an extremely high source of green tea extract. And the more you drink this, the better it is. It doesn't make you blast off. It doesn't make you drop down like that stuff. It gives you body awareness and mental focus and mental clarity. And we have studies out of Arizona with some of the doctors there with children that are autistic and Asperger's and the differences that you can see. And we have all the documentation from before they started to after they started utilizing this. It is absolutely amazing. We have a fat burn. We have fat burn that's a citrus based. We have a probiotic. We have a prebiotic, and the daily wellness is the postbiotic. We have a line of CBD and NRF2 activation. Now hear this, guys. Nobody in the world has this. NRF2 activation is known to be the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough. You ready for this? In the history of medicine. Yes, publicly traded company, and I could say that. NRF2 activation is the most important therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine through Washington State University. We've got a body wash. We've got a body rub that activates the muscles. We've got a deodorant, and everything is all natural. We have a skincare that is NRF2 activated called True Science. And I'm going to move forward. Don't let me scare you, but look, where are my wrinkles? A 64-year-old. Yes, I know I have a little bit right there. I've had this forever, but my wrinkles aren't there. I've been an athlete all my life. Why? Because my skin, the largest organ, is activated. Okay. So there are 3 different ways that you can get into this company, and tell you the truth, I'm not going to tell you about that right now. I want to spare that for the person that invited you, or however you've seen this video, or I'm going to have this available for the future so you can share this with people. And the beautiful thing is how we validate is through third-party validation. Let's say you shared this with someone. You said, listen, Steve or John or Susan, I've got something you got to see. It has to do with flipping the switch inside of ourselves and becoming the best version of you. And if it resonates with you, great. I'm going to let one of my friends or my business partners share more information because I'm excited about it. I know what I want to make a difference in my life, and I'd love to see if it resonates with you. You do that enough time, you will be amazed on how people will gravitate. Now, I started with one person in this company, and it's turned into over 75,000 people. I'm just a normal guy. I'm a kung fu guy. And in 3 days, my wife and I will be married 21 years. Sam and his wife next month will be married 21 years. And all I've ever done in my life, like a lot of you, I've traded time for money. If I had a massage therapy client on my table, I was making money. If I had a martial arts student in front of me, I was making money. And if neither one of those things weren't happening, I wasn't making money. And I'll tell you the truth, I was sinking financially big and I didn't know what to do, but I did know one thing. Network marketing is a $200+ billion industry, paying back over 40% to the distributors. Our company is number 11 out of the 100 top network marketing companies. 11. We're the biggest kept secret. So you have an opportunity to get involved with us. Maybe you just want to be a customer, or you know somebody that would benefit from what we're talking about. And I have the resources for you. This is about making a friend, finding their pain, and sharing information, and repeat and repeat and repeat. And when people open their eyes and they open their ears and they look at this information, it makes a shift. Now, there's one lady on this Zoom here that I met on an airplane. And you know what? We became very good friends. I'm not going to throw her under the bus or anything like that, but we became very good friends instantly. And I shared this information, and you know what? She said, yes, I would like to see more about what's going on here. It's that simple. If your dream is bigger than your fear, you have no idea what can happen. So I want to thank you guys very much. I'm going to turn it back over to Sam, but thanks for taking the time away from your family or whatever you were doing, whenever you're watching this and wherever you're watching this from. We're all here to help your dreams get bigger and bigger and more real for you. So thanks again. And Sam, I'm going to turn it back over to you, my brother.
Thanks so much, Michael. That was awesome. And when you're talking about even like the 200 or 500, like when we started, we actually thought if we could make 300 a month, that would change our life. That's really where we were at. And so we actually have a goal, a mission to help 100 or more families or individuals be able to get the financial freedom they're looking for. And so keeping this on time as much as possible, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I want to thank Michael for doing this with me. We just talked for about 2 hours, I think a couple weeks ago, and decided to start doing this. We started last week and I've enjoyed it very much. It's been a blessing to me. I know we had some friends that were interested, and we had them on here on the last one this last time. I'd really encourage you to keep inviting people. If you're already in the business, and or even if you're looking at it, to invite some people. The ones I had on, they actually joined the next day, and they joined and ordered a fair amount of product, and excited to work with them. But thank you guys. Thank you, Michael. And you know, we're only as small as our smallest dream. So
that's right.
Michael, back to you, and you close us out.
All right, thanks. And Sam and I are going to make a commitment to not do this on Tuesday. And if it works out for him, every Wednesday, at least for a while, we're going to do this so you can depend on us being here. And I'll shift it to different aspects and maybe have a different guest on here and so forth. But we're here to help you build your dreams. It doesn't matter what team you're on. It doesn't. We're all here as a Life Vantage family. And I'm just in gratitude of what we have, especially where we are in this world today, because in a lot of places, it's a very scary place. But Let's create security. So thanks again. I'm going to stop this recording. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, but let me stop this recording. Love you all. God bless.
I just